Hello, everyone. Here's Masa Dorfat from coinIX. coinIX is a blockchain investment firm based in Hamburg. And last week, we announced a new investment in our portfolio, Nexus Network. And we have the co-founder and CEO of the company here. Hi, Mayank. It's great to have you here.
Hi Mahesa, nice to be here and excited to start with this journey with coinIX on the cap table. You guys have been really supportive, so happy to have this conversation and take this forward.
We're glad to have Nexus Network in our portfolio. So I'm going to start with the first question. Before we jump into the project and what exactly is Nexus Network, can you please share more information about yourself? Like, what is your story? How did you end up in the blockchain industry?
Definitely, it's an interesting story, Mahesa. So actually, I did my BTech from IIT Bombay, which is among the best colleges in India for engineering. And then I did my MBA right after, and I was doing consulting at KPMG, and I was consulting across sectors. And during that time, out of nowhere, I got an article that a friend of mine shared around crypto bears and Wall Street bears and different things that were going on back in 2021. So I had read the Ethereum and Bitcoin white papers long back, but I never dived a lot into it. So that got me really excited about crypto. And then so for the next 3-4 months, along with my job, I came back in the night and started researching about what is going on, tried out all the different protocols, Uniswap, Aave, and everything else. And that got me really excited about the industry itself. And during these 3-4 months while reading, investing, I decided that I want to go full time into it. And so I reached out to Rohit, who coincidentally is my co-founder also. He was already in the blockchain industry and as a developer. And so I reached out to him and ended up joining the same firm for which he was also working. The two of us worked together there, and then we have started Nexus Network over time. So it's been an exciting journey over the past, I would say, 3 years. And I'm really glad to be here in that sense.
Amazing. Yeah. And I can see that your team has a great background, a great reputation that probably will give more power to a project, and it will attract more people because it shows that the team are solid and there is a solid foundation behind the project. So I think that concept of roll-ups and securing yields for idle bridge assets might be a little not tangible for everyone to understand. It might be a little complex. But if your grandmother asks you, hey, Mayank, what is your project about? How would you explain it to your grandma so that she understands what exactly you do?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. If I say what we do in one line is bringing secure yields to idle assets logged in roll-up bridges. That is quite a mouthful. So to explain it to say grandma, I would ask her to think about how we deposit money in banks. The banks generate safe returns on the money and say it's a savings rate that you get like 1% or 2% back from the bank as returns. So now how do these banks generate these returns? So what they do is they lend out the money to some business partners. These people pay some interest, and based on the interest, I as a depositor get the return. So they will earn some 4-5%. They share some part of it, 1-2% to us. So this is how banking has been working for the last 100 years or so. These B2B business partners make it easier for them to earn returns and do their businesses. Our story is pretty similar to that in the sense that we play a similar role, but in crypto industry, where for any user who deposit funds in bridges, for example, take it to a roll-up, say Ethereum, from Ethereum to say Optimism or Arbitrum, or even to an EVM chain. So the money just lies there earning no returns. And so here we want to play a similar B2B role where we work with these roll-up providers or we work with these EVM chains and we get those returns to these roll-ups and EVM chains. You can draw the perfect analogy that we are those B2B providers to the banks in that sense. The banks here being the bridges where the assets are locked.
Yeah, I hope the grandmother will understand it. Is there any specific moment that you thought, this is what I want to do, or this is what exactly is needed in the blockchain industry, and we have to start something called Nexus Network?
So me and Rohit, we were working in our previous company and we were working together on a product around liquid staking, on generating yields for every customer on staking ETH. You guys might have heard of Lido or say Rocket Pool or others. So we are trying to build a similar product, but more focus on the roll-up ecosystem because we saw that a lot of roll-ups were coming out early last year and we saw that this market is going to only grow. While doing that research, we realized that a lot of ETH is actually logged in the roll-up bridges and nobody's looking at it. And that was our aha moment. And we checked on the amount of ETH that is logged, and we saw that 1% of the entire Ethereum supply, which is billions, are logged in these bridges. We expected that to grow pretty quickly also, and which has happened. So in the past more than a year, it has grown more than 3.5 times, and now it's almost 3.45 to 4% of ETH is logged in these bridges. Much of it is not earning any returns. That was our aha moment, and we looked around and saw whether someone else is building something around this, but we quickly realized nobody is exactly building a B2B solution around it. And that's how the Nexus Network got started. We have the product ready now, and we are really excited to bring it to the market.
So you just mentioned that nobody else is doing it, and then that means that Nexus Network is one of a kind in what they're doing. You just mentioned a little bit about what exactly Nexus Network is doing, but if you want to go a little deeper into what problem is Nexus Network solving, is there any more details that you want to share with us?
There are two aspects where we are solving the major problems. One is the capital inefficiency. What I mean by that, the assets that are logged in these rollups, they are not earning any returns, but they could be earning returns, right? And that's where they are capital inefficient. ETH that is logged in these bridges, they can be staked, and that staking gives around 3 to 4% returns at the moment, which these rollups can get in, and now they can use these returns. So for example, a rollup has 100 million in ETH log. So that would be 3 to 4% would be around 3 to 4 million that additional returns that the rollup will get. And then they can use it in different purposes, like incentivizing the users on the platform, but also supporting different protocols that are building on top of the rollup. This helps the rollup differentiate to other players in the market, because this is additional kind of cash flow that is coming in that can be directed for an efficient use and help the rollup grow. This is the capital inefficiency part that I talked about. Now the second aspect where we differentiate ourselves is around the security of it in total. Some rollups, for example, Blast have started trying this out, and after Blast, many rollups are trying this out in different manner. And there, what we have built is a really secure product. We have gone to great lengths to use the latest in staking technology, where we have also partnered with, say, SSV Network, which is a DVT provider that increases the security in staking. And also we have provided insurance on top. So we have partnered with some of the leading insurance providers in the market. So what this brings to us is a really secure product that rollups can use right out of the gate. And so these are our two most essential focuses in terms of the capital efficiency, bringing capital efficiency to the market in the most secure way possible. And that's in a nutshell what we're trying to do at Nexus Network.
Yeah, for sure. Implementing secure and custodial yield mechanics for EVM chains, rollups, or rollup as a service providers is very important to provide a safe environment for users to increase their earnings. Last week, you had a fundraising announcement. Would you like to give more information about that? And if there is any other updates, partnerships, or advancements that you want to share?
Definitely, Mesa. So we are really excited about the fundraise announcement. We raised 1 million, and Hashed Emergent is the lead for us, and we are excited to have many partners, coinIX, also Mask Network, Founderheads, and Breakout, and also many angels. Like we have almost 10 angels who have put in checks of different sizes in the fundraising round, and we are really excited with the backing that we have got from these folks across the ecosystem. So in terms of like people from the rollup ecosystem, as well as people from like exchanges like coinIX, as well as other folks who are building on the infrastructure side. So we are really excited about the support we have gotten. What's coming next for us is in terms of we will be launching our testnet. This will go out early next week. This is a testnet that we have been working on, and this will help people visualize what Nexus Network looks like. So from an idea to a reality, people can be able to try out how the entire yield flow looks. Like for example, as a user, I come to a rollup, I transfer my assets in. What happens after that? How does Nexus Network generate returns, and can I visualize it somewhere? So users will be able to see that, hey, this much money has come in, so this much amount of returns has been generated, and now this can be directed in different fashions. It's targeted to both our B2B customers as well as any user who wants to check it out, and we are really excited to launch it. And so stay tuned for the launch next week.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations on 1 million raise, and we're really looking forward to the testnet launch. You just mentioned that there is no competitors for Nexus Network, but Does that mean that there's literally no one in the blockchain market that is doing the same thing that you're doing?
So if we define it in a manner where what we are doing, what our goals are, what our ideals are, there is no one else who is doing it. But if you define it a bit broadly, like people who are trying to stake ETH, they might be looked at as our competitors. So it could be staking players or liquid staking players in the market in that sense. So in a broad sense, these can be our competitors, but the specific target of working with rollups, working with EVM chains, where we are a B2B provider for them, that specifically no one else is doing at the moment. If we look at the general market also, I would say we differentiate ourselves in a few manners. You mentioned the non-custodial design of the product. So that is one thing which makes the product really secure. The user assets never come to Nexus Network. They are either on the rollup bridge or they are staked on the Ethereum chain. And that is one of the biggest differentiators for us from any competitor. And apart from that, the staking technology that we are using and the slashing insurance that we provide builds the security aspect to it, and which is again a differentiator for us because we haven't seen any other player bring this entire suite to rollups or rollup ecosystems. Lastly, where we differentiate ourselves is the complete suite of products in terms of ETH and stablecoins that we provide. So rollups can work with us right out of the gate and work with getting returns on ETH, but also on stablecoins like DAI, and it depends on their preference and their risk and reward assessment. That's where we differentiate in terms of bringing the entire suite of products where the rollups do not have to worry a lot about anything else. They can just work with us and everything works out of the gate. This is where our biggest differentiator would be compared to any other staking provider that are there in the market.
Yeah, Nexus Network really stands out, and that's basically why we have invested in your project, because we believe in you guys. Is there anything else that you want to share about Nexus Network?
The most exciting bit and the most interesting bit that is coming out is the testnet launch itself, because we have been talking about this idea, but people will be able to actually visualize how things will work out. So we are really excited about that. It goes out next week. We will be putting out the announcement on our Twitter and on our Discord. So urge everyone who is listening to check our socials out, and once we launch the testnet, come and try it out. We are really open to any feedback you guys have. So, but because it's a test network and we want to make the most of it, get the most number of people to try it out and become our early supporters. Obviously, crypto has this thing where the early supporters are the most rewarded ones, and that is the ethos in the system, and we want those early backers to come and be with us, work with us through as we grow and as we become better. Another aspect, obviously, there are a lot of partnerships that are coming in and that will be announced in the coming weeks, but that is something that will be announced, and do not want to reveal that because these are B2B partnerships that I'm talking about. So do stay tuned for them. One last thing I want to share is around the rollups itself. So if you are thinking of building a rollup, or if you are building a rollup already, we are really happy to work with you and try partner with you in terms of bringing these yields. So anyone who is considering or anything building around a rollup, really happy to have a conversation and figure out if we can work together in some manner.
Yeah, so to anyone who's watching this video, if you're building your own rollup, you can just get in touch with Mayank, or you can get in touch with us, and we will connect you guys together. So my last question is a general blockchain question. So there are a lot of people out there who have not invested in the blockchain industry yet. They are scared, or they are suspicious, or they don't understand the technology. What is your message to these people?
That's an interesting question, because I was there somewhere like 3 years ago, where I didn't know much about the industry and didn't understand where to start in that sense. But what I realized is there are a lot of people who are present and who can help. And right now, I would say in anywhere you are in the world, you will find someone in your network who is interested or is investing in crypto. So reaching out to those folks can be helpful. And what keeps me excited about the industry is there are new developments every day. And there is something for everyone's taste, be it a geek or be it a risk taker. There is something for everyone to just dive in, check out, and figure out if this works for me or not. So what I would say is a lot of people love it. Some people also hate the industry, and that is fine. But I would suggest everyone to just try it out and see if this fits them. And I think that would be a good way to start with the industry. Obviously, coinIX has a really good UX also. I appreciate, I have checked it out and I appreciate that. So I would say this can be a good way to start in terms of checking the coinIX UX and everything out in that sense.
Indeed. Yeah, I think that's the best message, just to try it out, just to try to at least understand the technology so that when the mass adoption happens, you don't feel left out. So I'm done with all the questions. Thank you so much for doing this interview with me, and we wish Nexus Network all the best. And we are really looking forward to all the milestones that you're going to achieve in the future.
Thanks a lot, Mahesa, for having me here. And I'm really excited for coming announcements and the coming launches for us. And thank you guys for being along for the journey.